Hey guys, welcome to this week's Cyber Talk with Bob and Chris. This week we're recording a little early, and yes, this one's recording. By the time this one hits, I'm probably going to be in a dentist chair. Last night was interesting, and no, I wasn't in a bar fight. I bit a piece of chocolate last night and wound up taking off a 20-year cap.
Uh,
So anyway,
Honestly, the bar fight would be a better story.
the bar fight would have been a better story, yes, but that's what it is. So anyway, got me thinking as I'm driving to a call last night. It's like, what am I going to talk? What are we going to talk about today? And I wanted to talk about the the necessity of having a plan if something happens. Because when my tooth broke tonight or last night, I picked up the phone and I texted my dentist, which I was one of our clients. I texted her and we I sent her a picture of it, and she said, "Okay, just call this oral surgeon and you'll be all taken care of." Well, the oral surgeon wasn't there yet this time, but she had him on speed dial. So she texted him, and I got a 9 o'clock appointment for getting my tooth addressed within 2 hours of the incident happening. Yes, this was an incident.
Spe- Speaking
And
from somebody who's had a lot of dental work done, I've never had that kind of expedient service ever. So
in
I am jealous.
fact, Chris, the dentist is actually the oral surgeon is actually coming in just to see me today. Today he doesn't work on Thursdays.
Dude,
So
your dentist has a favor that's owed.
yeah,
Something. That's awesome.
so I think some people will be getting Christmas cookies that I've been posting on Facebook today as part of those visits. But it just makes wanted to remind everybody that you really need to have a plan if there's a if you have a cyber incident. I'm not saying you had a breach, but
Yeah.
everything needs to be investigated. And so and Chris, who's the first? How should a cyber incident really play out?
Mass panic.
That works.
Oh wait, no. So to Bob's point, when we have a plan and we can execute on a plan and everybody knows that the plan exists, that's the other thing. Like if you have a plan, let's make sure everybody knows it exists, where it is, how to get to it. Um, if it's digital, you might want a printed copy just in case something happens. But like when we have a plan and we have steps to go through, like the emotional hit that we normally take in of panic can be calmed because we have a plan, right? We can go down step one, step two, step three, step four, whatever. We know who to call and whatnot, and it helps people remain somewhat calm and controlled. When we don't have a plan and you just let emotion take over, like things can get worse or just things don't get done. And I'll give an example to the plan that I have to make. Since we're talking about your tooth, we are going to get obliterated by snow and blizzard conditions in
Uh-oh.
about 24 hours. So I've had to make plans that I had to cancel my Christmas plans with my family because it is dangerous to go that far with that situation. So obviously knowing the weather makes it a little bit easier for us to plan, but like I have to plan for getting groceries early, make sure because everybody's panicking and everything like that. But you know, we have a plan for what's going to happen if we have some sort of incident. I know you have a plan for like what's going to happen in your business if you have an incident. We have a plan for a lot of things. Like we have a plan for if I get hit by a bus, which luckily I don't really go around buses too often, so it's probably like a low probability of happening.
He won't be on the bus when you're getting hit by it.
Yeah, yeah. Or if Chris goes down to plane crash, let's just go really dark and stuff like that. We have a plan for that, and you need that in your business. Outside of just cyber, just things can happen. If you have a leak in your roof, you should have a plan for that. Like who do you call? Like having numbers and having legit like simple plan. It doesn't have to be anything robust. It can be just a simple plan of who to call. So if you have an
Yeah,
IT,
and having arrangements with people in advance really makes a difference
oh yeah,
because if I had called a dentist out of the blue for my tooth, they would have it would not have played out the way it played out last night because one text mess one photograph that I sent on as a selfie that I sent her, she's like, okay, it's beyond my expertise to fix, call Joe. And that's the same thing on the cyber side. If
yeah.
you're calling somebody if you call up an IT company and says, oh, I think my email's been compromised. Well, okay, we might be able to respond, we might not be able to respond, but it's not going to be cheap.
Well, also, it it really depends on what the incident is too, right? So if it's something that's critical, like make sure that you have an expert, like to Bob's point, you have an expert on hand. Um, if you call us, we'll make the right decision. But some people you call, they might actually make the problem worse. So you want to make sure that you kind of vet people before you have to do that. Because the worst thing we want to do is make a decision um, at the time of an incident. Like whatever incident is, like when there's something bad is going on, you don't want to have to make a critical decision at that point, at that juncture, because you're not going to make it with sound mind.
Exactly.
So get somebody like, preparing for this and being prepared. You just do so much better. Like, well, let's see, I'm an Eagle Scout and Boy Scouts. You spent time in Boy Scouts, right? I don't. Are you an Eagle Scout?
I'm not an Eagle Scout. I'm an Eagle Scout advisor, and I was actually a Scoutmaster for 7 years.
There you go. So the whole thing about Boy Scouts was be prepared. That was our entire model. And so everything that, like, for me, everything that we've done is all about based on that. But I grew up with that. So that was kind of drilled into my mind for a lot of my childhood going through that. So again, being prepared and having a plan is just a better way to do things. I wish I had Bob's dentist, honestly, like that kind of relationship, because like I don't. So if I have a problem, it takes me a couple days to get it usually.
Yeah, I've been lucky at building those relationships. I'm not sure why, but both the dentists that I had, I basically had on speed dial, because I had another problem before years ago, and when I texted him, by the time I got back to my desk, the phone was ringing with "Come into the office." So I'm here. So
I had an emergency before Angie and I got married, where I had a filling fall out and I had immense pain. Well, it turns out I needed a root canal, so I had an emergency root canal 2 days before we got married.
Nice.
But it took me, but I didn't have a dentist at the time, so it took me, I don't know, I'd call like 6 or 7 dentists to try to get in emergency, and only one could get me in. And you know what? That dentist is still my dentist today, that dental office, because they were able to get me in. So it just shows like the,
Well, last night when I did reach out to my dentist, when she said we have to get you to an oral surgeon, I'm like, oh great, now I have to go find one. Yep. But she took the next step and said, here, call this guy. It's all done.
Right. That's great. So she already had a plan, like, for that case. That's awesome.
She had the plan. She had the relationships in place, just like we have relationships in place with incident response teams if something happens. Because from an IT perspective, we stop in containment. We'll look and see if we see the signs of what's going on. We'll try and we try and stop it. But then we have to bring in the forensic team to really figure out what's going on, and your insurance company, and your breach coach, which is likely your attorney.
Well, into your point, the first call you should make if you think that you have an incident and you have cyber insurance should be to call your insurance company and let them know what's going on. Make the call there, because they're going to dictate a lot of this. If you don't have cyber insurance, obviously, then your probably next call is to an IT firm. It should be incident response firm. So like what Bob said, or somebody that has access to an incident response team, because it's really important to collect evidence in a certain way, so that it can stand up in court if it needs to, or you can produce evidence that it was evidence of what actually happened and be able to replay that, just in case you get sued for whatever reason.
Well, even short of the evidence in court, calling the insurance company first and letting them drive it is going to help you get your insurance claim potentially paid.
That too.
If you don't follow what they tell you to do and everything goes away, well, did it really happen?
Also, if you have a cyber incident, it's bad enough, and you should be calling your local like FBI field office, probably state police at that point, to let them know, because they might have some ability to help you as well, especially from a legal standpoint.
Yeah, the New Jersey, we have to notify the New Jersey KIC.
Yeah, here state police is big in Michigan. They have a good relationship with the FBI. So if it's something that can be handled inside the state, they'll handle it first. But then if they can't, then they get the FBI involved. So yeah, just have a plan. That's our big thing. We plan for everything else. We plan for vacations. We plan for weddings. We plan for parties. We should be planning for other things. Also, it's a good idea to have a PR team on hand too, if you deal with a lot of sensitive data, because if you ever do get a breach, you're going to need a PR team.
Okay.
So having somebody that you can reach out for public relations is a big deal, and a lawyer. Make sure you have a good lawyer that you can reach out to as well.
Yeah, I'm actually creating a relationship with a lawyer that if someone comes along with it doesn't have a breach coach, I'm making one recommendation. It's like, here, talk to these guys.
By the way, we're making this sound really expensive. And it kind of is. It depends on your situation with your business. But like if you're dealing with really sensitive information, you should have all this stuff in place beforehand because,
So
you know,
So yes, it's expensive, and the one case we worked on, which we didn't get much out of it from a billing perspective,
yeah,
but the cost the client the entire incident was $45,000. The guy lost $10,000 worth of he had a bad the bad guys got into his email. They altered an invoice, sent it out with different bank information, so he lost a $10,000 retainer. And when he notified his insurance company, they said, "Oh, no problem." They spun up an incident response team, and this person had to pay the bill for that. But and that was $35,000 for the incident response for a 10-person company, which is mainly contractors in an Office 365 environment. And
yeah,
the forensics alone, figuring out what was going on, what happened. Yes, the insurance company paid that $35,000, but he was still out the initial $10,000 because that was his deductible.
yeah,
So know your limits. And
yeah. But by the way, I have a this is funny. I shared with my team. I'll bring some levity to the situation. Uh, I have $50,000 in kidnapping insurance,
I remember you
but
telling me
it's
that.
only $10,000 per incident. So somebody can be kidnapped 5 times. That's my limit. And I told my team that. I'm like, if you get kidnapped, I can only pay 10K. So just understand, just don't go something. It was part of the policy that I got for like E&O and like cyber insurance, but for some reason there's a kidnapping clause there, and I read everything, so it was just funny. We would have to joke about it. So I at least I know I have a kidnapping policy for somebody. So, but yeah,
Unless Angie says keep you.
What?
Unless Angie says keep them.
Life insurance is worth more than the kidnapping insurance. Boy, that went dark quick. But yeah, our big thing is just make sure you have a plan, make sure you know who to call, and if you want some entertainment for the week, go read about Suffolk County, New York, and what's happening there. It's not a good situation, but there's something to learn there, and probably Bob and I'll talk about it in the future.
Wasn't that the one where Suffolk County? They no longer have an IT director, if I remember right.
Well, he's on paid leave.
Okay.
He's on paid leave of absence.
Anyway, that's too deep to get into right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had a big cyber breach, and
now the incident response stuff is coming out, and it's showing just how unplanned certain things were. And to our point, let's put it this way: they didn't spend $2 million that they had earmarked for cyber, and so far it's cost the city or the county, I think, almost $7 million, and they still haven't spent the money, so they still have that on top of that, and they're still racking up bills. So
you're saying there really could be an ROI for cyber insurance for cyber?
there's definitely no. Just remember, what is it? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Mm-hmm.
Like being prepared and making sure that you do the right things up front will cost you far less in the end than if you get caught without doing it. So
on that note, if you think your IT guys might have it covered or might not have it covered, reach out to Chris or I, and we can actually set up a little mini pen test and do an assessment of what's going on just to find out what happens. It's painless, and the pain we could save could be a lot.
Yeah, and we work well with other IT companies. So if you have internal IT or other IT companies, we're fine working alongside of them, just doing the cyber side of it, just to give you kind of peace of mind, third-party validation, things like that. So, but on that note, have happy holidays.
Happy holidays, Chris.
If Christmas is your thing, enjoy that. Yeah, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate, enjoy it. Have fun. Spend time with your family. Enjoy the end of the year. Planning. I'm sure Bob and I will do something next week. We didn't do one last week because Bob got sick. I'm just gonna call Bob out and call that. So
I was sick, and I'm still sick, but I was like sick and with a broken tooth, so I figured I might as well just do it.
Yeah.
And You know, the elephant in the room is Bob's tooth.
You'll be good. Well, good luck getting that fixed, and we'll see you guys probably next week.
Yep.